Hey guys, just got back from the range shooting my Smith & Wesson 627 8-shot 357 revolver. It's pretty dirty. I was going to go through the cleaning process that I used to clean this gun, and mainly this video is for my son. He has a 327, and the 627 is pretty much the same thing, not made out of scandium but stainless steel, but the process is exactly the same. So I'm going to walk through what I do to clean this Performance Center Smith & Wesson. So one of the things you have to do is take this cylinder out right here. So what I do, I have a screwdriver from Brownells that I put I'm not really sure what size, I think this is like a 1/8 inch tubing, rubber tubing. I put a little sleeve on it so I don't accidentally scratch the surface on this Performance Center gun. So I want you guys, I'll show you how to take the cylinder out on a Smith & Wesson revolver if y'all have never done it. This screw right here is basically the only screw you need to remove on this Smith & Wesson. So with my screwdriver, a perfectly fit slot for that screw. The screwdriver fits that slot perfectly. There's no movement left or right. Just so, I always press in because they usually have like Loctite on these little screws. This is like a spring. It's got a little plunger at the end of the screw. Let me get it out and I'll show you. And sometimes they don't want to come out, but it's out far enough right there to where it will release the cylinder. Let me, come on out of there. There it is. You guys, you see the screw. It's got this little plunger right here. That's what holds pressure up against the, I believe it's called the crane. I may be wrong, but all right, once you take that screw out, you open your cylinder and you basically just wiggle it and it slides out. And then you can slide the crane off of the cylinder assembly. I don't go any further than this right here on these because there's really no need. These are the main pieces you need to take apart: the frame and barrel assembly, the cylinder assembly, and take the crane out. And so that's the three main parts plus the one screw. And always set it aside on a cloth where it won't take off on you. Areas you want to clean is the forcing cone area of the revolver. Of course, the barrel. I was shooting lead bullets, so I will. It's pretty dirty. I can't remember the powder that I was using. This is not my favorite powder. I can tell that much right there. I like to use Bullseye on light loads on my revolvers, and I've also got some Spanish powder. CBS 5 or something like that, Maximum powder. It burns pretty clean, but it's a really heavy flake powder. So you need a good solvent. This is a good one as well. I had some Deaton's, Deaton. I got it online, I think on eBay. That was a really good solvent. It worked pretty good. But I'm out now. I need to get some more. I get this at the local gun show. It's $3.50. Go to Walmart and you can pay $10 for it. But here, this 8-ounce bottle is $3.50. This Barnes CR10 really does good at getting copper out. but I was shooting lead bullets today. What I do, I put a generous amount. I used to say liberal, but I don't like that word. I put a generous amount on this, and I let it just soak into the carbon and get it all in this area. And I'll do it in the bore as well. And I tell you what, you need to make sure your fan's on, windows open or something, because the barn is just eat up with ammonia. So I'm gonna let that sit for just a little bit, and we'll start back. And while I'm waiting for that stuff to work a little bit, I'll put a little bit more on there. I'm going to prepare a couple things. I'm cheap. I use cloth right here. Cut my own patches to clean. So I'm going to be cutting some patches that'll fit this 357 bore off of old t-shirts. And these are, as a matter of fact, these right here were pretty heavy duty t-shirts too. It's not just your standard t-shirt. These are heavy gauge cotton. I got some really good jigs for each caliber. I believe I picked these up at Walmart. They're brass jigs, so they're softer than the steel, so you don't have to worry about damaging your bore. And I use a brass cleaning rod. I do have an aluminum cleaning rod, which will work good. Stainless steel is okay with aluminum. Carbon steel barrels and stuff, if you get some of the aluminum that stays in there from cleaning them, you can get some galvanic corrosion going on, because aluminum does not like carbon steel, high carbon steel. Just a matter of fact, like if you work on cars and stuff with aluminum parts versus steel body parts, the body shops have to use a totally different set of tools to work on aluminum car. They can't use the same screwdrivers, hammers, and all that other stuff on an aluminum vehicle. So I'm preparing plenty of cloth. Another thing you can use on cleaning revolvers is a little scrubbing pad. You buy them in the dishwashing area of your grocery stores. And one of my favorite things to do with revolver cylinders is 4/0 steel wool and oil to clean the face of these cylinders. You got to be real careful if it's blue. Now this is stainless steel finish. It's a satin finish too, and it's really good. You can look right here with this Barnes CR10. If you look at this, it's starting to clean just by rubbing it off now. That's some really good solvent, and it's cheap enough if you get it at the right source, it is. I also use just a regular toothbrush that my wife throws away after they've used for a little bit. They make great little getting in all the little crevices and stuff like that. But and I also use, when I'm going back together with the gun, I do a little slight, leave a little bit of this in the bore, and I lubricate the gun with this. It's called Militech 1. From what I understand, this stuff was used on cleaning M1 Abrams barrels and stuff. This stuff right here is like a metal penetrating oil. I've got a 8-ounce bottle of it up in my closet, and I only use that little 1-ounce bottle, and that 1-ounce bottle there lasts for darn near a year. It does a real good job of lubricating these right here without having to use a whole bunch. It's just a little light film that I put on this when I lubricate them. So you need a good oil like that, a solvent, brush, a screwdriver that fits the slot of the screw, a set of jigs, you can use wire brushes. I would stay away from the stainless steel ones because they're just as hard as the metal, and they may scratch the finish right there. But you got some of the cotton bore brushes right there if you want to really coat the barrel with solvent. A good soft cleaning rod, and steel wool or a Brillo pad. Not the steel wool, it needs to be at least 4/0, because that's not going to hurt the finish at all. And you only lightly buff this carbon off of here, because you see how it's really wiping off pretty good, but you're going to get some little burned areas, discoloration, from extensive shooting. And if you shoot like me anyhow, I think I just ran 300 rounds through this gun right here, and it's a little dirty. So we're going to get started here in just a minute, and I'll show you what I'm going to start working on first, which will be, I'm going to put some of the solvent on the brush, a good little generous amount, and I'm going to use this toothbrush to basically scrub all the surfaces that's got carbon on it. And so I'm going to do that. You don't have to keep looking at this, but I'm going to do that, and I'll get right back with you. Alright, I'm working the upper part of the frame. I'll also have something like this so your wife don't beat you up after a while for getting stuff on their table. I'm working the forcing cone area. You see how all that stuff is starting to come out. And I usually get all this done before I start working on the barrel itself. And just find all those little hideaways. Now if this was a 22, which I actually have to clean here directly, it's a 10-shot Smith & Wesson 617. It builds up lead all around the forcing cone area, and actually in this area right here. So you're going to have to probably even chip a little bit of that stuff away, or get some kind of lead solvent to work on. And that's the only difference between a 22 and this right here, is you're going to have a significant leading issue on a Smith & Wesson revolver, because believe it or not, you don't lead the barrel, you lead this area right here in the front face of that cylinder off to where it gets where after about 150 rounds or 200 rounds, the cylinder gets to where it gets in a bind. I'm going to do a little bit more scrubbing. Okay, I'm going to say 5 minutes have passed, and now there's some still little areas on here, but you see how that barn stuff really works really well. It's cleaned off using this little brush and a little bit of this scouring pad. I hadn't even got to the steel wool yet. Has done a real good job around the forcing cone here, the barrel cone, cleaning all the carbon up around. The gun's really clean on the outside so far. I got a couple little areas here on the inside I missed right here cleaning up, but that stuff right there wipes off. You'll be surprised how much carbon actually builds up on the back side. It's slipping back through the cylinder whenever the charge ignites, and you'll build up carbon right here at the top of the frame near the rear, around just above the firing pin, and right below it in the little area where you lock up, and it has the little pawl that advances your cylinder. So next, I'm going to start working on this cylinder. I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to use a bore brush, and a brass rod, one of these jigs, but mostly this little brush right here, and some of this steel wool. This is what I'll use to clean the face, and I'll use the cylinder clean the inside of the cylinders with those wire brushes right there, or the bore brushes right there. I have a, let's see, my 357 one is, it looks like it right there. So I'll get it out, and then I even have a little eye hole jig right here that I'll put a patch in there to make sure I oil each cylinder really good, and then I'll clean it out before I go use it again. I don't use these for defensive purposes. This is just fun target shooting. You don't have to pick brass up off the ground. All right, I'll start working on this cylinder, and I'll get back with you guys. It'll probably be about 5 minutes or so. Hey guys, I'm only about a minute into it, and this is only using this right here and a little solvent, and this right here, and the cylinder looks like this so far. The Barnes really works really well, but it's nowhere near done. You get these little burn spots from a revolver, especially. I did shoot some 357 rounds through there. Mostly I shot 38 leads, but I did clean the barrel out with some high velocity 357s, and you'll get these burn spots on the cylinder that has to be dealt with. And just a light polishing, that's when that steel wool comes in there. Plus, even though the carbon's gone, you still got burn marks up here, and that's where the steel wool comes in handy, right there. I'll show you that in just a few minutes. All right, this is the steel wool process. I'm just scrubbing it on the front face. I'm not going to scrub it that hard on the side, but on that front face, to get those burn marks and the rest of that carbon, it's coming right on off too. It's doing really good. I haven't even used a little scouring pad, which will, if you scrub real hard with that scouring pad, you'll put scratches on it. But this steel wool is what you use to polish. I do woodworking as well, and this is my final process before I put a finish on it. I use this on wood, so I feel totally safe on stainless steel. It's looking really pretty. I'm getting those little burn marks off the side, just a little light polishing, a little buffing, and that comes right off. Otherwise, if you don't get that off, it'll just, the next time you shoot it, it just starts getting deeper, and the burn marks stay there, and it's harder to get off. So I take the time. These revolvers here, these Smith & Wessons, are such a beautiful weapon. Shame to leave stuff like that on them. And so I'll show you the finished product. I haven't worked on the inside yet, but we'll get there. Cleaning the cylinder insides. I take my brush in and out, in and out. Got 8 of them to deal with. Now I was shooting 38 specials. This is a 357, so there'll be a little ring in there before you have the shoulder. 1/8 of an inch before you get to the shoulder. You need to make sure you get that carbon out of there because it makes it harder to load a 357. And I did shoot 250, 300 rounds of 38 specials. And so you definitely need to pay attention to the inside of your cylinder. Spend as much time as you need getting your cylinder clean. Don't skimp that area right there, because get all the debris out. This thing's starting to clean up really good. I still got a lot to go on it though. We're going to be doing some paper patching. I meant cloth patches through the cylinder. I've already done a little bit. Make sure it's all clean we're going to take a look at. I'm going to see if I can't show you what the cylinder looks like afterwards. Now get this. You can, especially you can leave some of this stuff in the bore, but understand when you go to shoot it that you need to clean this stuff out. The stuff's looking really good. I got some kind of little tool to see what we see in the cylinders. We'll see if y'all can see in this cylinder here what it's looking like. So this stuff right here cleans really good. I've been really impressed with this barn stuff. It's cleaning up really good. Let me look at a couple more of the cylinders. Well, let me get the light. There it is. No, so that's cleaning real good. It's in between that area too. I got some excess cleaning fluid. I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna put some oil in that area there because that's what's gonna work up against the crane. So I'm gonna work on the crane next. When I get it done, I'm going to work on the barrel. The crane, this is the area where the front of the cylinder is, this is the top, right below the barrel. And you'll see that there's a lot of carbon buildup right there too. That's where the big issue is on 22s. You get a lot of leading this builds up. And I think some of this is lead too because I was shooting a lot of lead bullets. So I'm gonna work on this, mainly just using this brush, and then I'll get some steel wool on it if I have to, if I need to do it a little bit further, I'll use steel wool. All right. Finishing it up with some steel wool there. There was a little bit of lead on it right there, and also there was some in between in this area here that I had to finish up with this steel wool, but that's pretty clean. And guys, don't forget this little area right here. I usually take a Q-tip and clean it out. That's the part that your slides into here, and you'll get carbon on it as well. But it's very little, so you'll just have to do just minor cleaning. You may have a 17 caliber brush or so to go through there. Maybe I think maybe a 20 caliber, and that'll be the area too that you'll need to lube is down in there. Also, you don't have to lube this right here too much, but this is the part that just swings in the frame. So I usually put a drop of the Militech 1 on it right there, and also in here I put some of the Militech on it, and then it just basically slides in here. So what you want to do is put a little bit on the inside and a little bit on the outside. Once I put a drop on there, sort of wipe it around there, make sure you got a little bit on each one of the bearing surfaces, inside and out, because inside the cylinder rotates. It rides on it as well. So that's how that works. So next is the bore. I'm going to start working on it. I'll go ahead and just run a dry brush, or this wet brush right here from the last cleaning of the cylinder, and I'll take a look inside the bore. That's not, these guns are pretty nice. That's 250 plus rounds through there after just a little slight wipe right there. But I am going to get it mirror finished when I get done with it. So I'm going to use, it doesn't look like I have to use this brush in there, so I'm just going to run probably 7 or 8 patches through here, and we'll put the gun back together. Running some dry patches through the barrel now. See how getting the last bit of that fluid out of there. And what I'll do, I'll take another dry patch, put a little bit of that Militech on it, and run it through there, just to leave a little light coating. We'll check the bore. Let's see if you guys can see that. That's a fairly clean bore right there. I like this old thing right here. That's the 70s technology right there. I think I got that when my very first centerfire rifle was a Marlin, what was it, 1894 44 Magnum. These are pretty nice right here. Old barrel lights right here. Had for years. It makes everything shine. All right, we're going to put it back together after I lubricate everything that I want lubricated. Okay, remember I mentioned the Militech 1. I put a drop here and a drop there, and I just make sure I get all the way around each little surface of these bearing surfaces here. And then I'm going to take a drop and put in right here, and then slide the cylinder on. All right, I had to shut it down real quick. My wife was coming in the house and I had to answer questions here. So basically, I lubricated these two areas and also the front of this, because only this much, this part of the crane has a bearing surface. The rest of it's open on the inside. So you just basically slide it on. It spins free. You take this area right there and you slide into the front edge, the front part of the frame, and then just slide it on in. Before you put your screw in, make sure everything's on it. And for some reason this thing's acting up. I will. Why are you not going all the way in there? Alright, we're going to see what's going on. I have no clue as why I didn't want to do that, but anyhow. Sounds like a bear in the house. My dog is back there over there wanting to let me know that he's in here. Oh, here he comes. Hey Bubba, you lay down over there. Go lay down. And just put that screw back in. And you'll feel it getting snug, but to keep from damaging the screw, just push forward, push in, and then just a little bit of a tightening, and it's back together. Then you just do your little final wipe down of, because you got stuff all over your hands and stuff. And we have a clean Smith & Wesson revolver. It all looks nice. It's clean. What I'll do next is, because I'll show this gun to my friends and stuff, I'll put my presentation grips on it. These are real pretty laminated grips from the Performance Center, Smith & Wesson. I'll put those on. But that is how to clean a Smith & Wesson revolver. Now, Taurus revolvers are much like that to clean. I know that the little Model 85s, there's a spring in there you got to watch out for. If you put it back in there, it won't lock up correctly. But when you take it out, there's a little spring you have to deal with. Other than that, it's the same thing. I'm not sure about Ruger. Double action revolvers, don't deal with those. Look up, there's plenty of other videos on YouTube for that. And I'll be uploading a video of this being shot. This is a very, very nice 8-shot 357 revolver. It's smooth as a sewing machine on the trigger. But guys, I appreciate y'all listening to me. I hope this helped. This is mainly for my son, and so he'll know how to take care of this after I'm gone. Guys, once in your life, get a Performance Center Smith & Wesson. The biggest beef that some people have about them is the barrel doesn't line up with the frame. This one, if you look at it really close, it does. This one lines up. I did have a 629 PC, the compensated, the 7.5 inch compensated version. The barrel was a little bit off canted a little bit. Didn't hurt the shooting of it, but I sent it back and they took care of it. But these guns have lifetime warranties on them, and they're transferable too, I believe. So, thanks for watching. If you like it, leave comments. Even if you didn't like it and think I'm an idiot, you can leave comments too. I'll listen to that too and take it with a grain of salt. But thanks, guys, for spending your time watching this. Thanks.